In a small town in Michigan, a retired couple, Jerry and Marge Selby, ran a convenience store for 17 years before embarking on a surprising adventure. And this adventure was not your ordinary retirement plan. It all centered around Jerry, a 64-year-old man with a sparkle in his eyes that hinted at a mind always at work. Jerry was no ordinary retiree. He had a bachelor's degree in mathematics, and he had a penchant for puzzles. Not just any puzzles, mind you, but the kind that could be solved with numbers and a bit of creative thinking. This love for mathematics and puzzles would soon lead him to a discovery that would change his and Marge's lives forever. One day in 2003, Jerry walked into the convenience store they used to own. There, he noticed a marketing brochure for a new state lottery called Loophole. Intrigued, he picked it up, his eyes scanning the words and numbers. The lottery had a unique feature, a roll-down. Unlike other lotteries that keep growing until there is a winner, once the windfall jackpot reached $5 million and no one had matched all 6 numbers, a roll-down would occur. This meant the money would be split among winners who matched just 5, 4, or even 3 numbers. As Jerry read the brochure, he began to see a pattern. His mathematical mind started whirring, calculating probabilities and potential outcomes. In less than 3 minutes, he had an epiphany. There, in the rules of the windfall lottery, lay a loophole. A loophole that could potentially turn $1,000 into almost twice the amount, all perfectly legal and within the rules of the game. You see, Jerry quickly calculated that if he spent $1,100 on 1,100 tickets, the odds were in favor of him having at least one 4-number winner and multiple 3-number winners. This would turn his initial investment into a significant profit. In less than 3 minutes, Jerry had spotted a lucrative loophole in the windfall lottery. Armed with a rudimentary understanding of arithmetic, Jerry decided to test his theory. A theory that was simple, yet had the potential to outsmart a state lottery system. His first step, he put down $1,100 on 1,100 windfall tickets. Now this might seem like a gamble to most, but not to Jerry. He knew that the odds were skewed in his favor. The windfall lottery wasn't like other lotteries. When the jackpot reached $5 million and no one had the winning 6-number combination, a roll-down occurred. This roll-down meant that the jackpot was distributed among those who had matched just 3, 4, or 5 numbers. So Jerry calculated that if he bought 1,100 tickets, he'd likely have at least one 4-number winner that would pay out $1,000, and at least 18 or 19 3-number winners that paid $900. This meant that his initial investment of $1,100 would yield a return of $1,900, giving him a tidy profit of $800. And guess what? Jerry's calculations were spot on. His first foray into the windfall lottery proved to be an overwhelming success. He had outsmarted the system and made a healthy profit. Emboldened by his initial success, Jerry decided to up the stakes. He purchased $3,600 worth of windfall tickets. It was a time-consuming task, sorting through all those tickets, but the effort paid off. Jerry ended up making a profit of $2,700. With each successful roll-down, Jerry's confidence in his strategy grew. He was playing the game, not just by the rules, but by the numbers. And the numbers were working in his favor. Every calculation, every ticket purchase, every roll-down was proving his theory right. And so, Jerry continued to play the windfall lottery, not as a hopeful player dreaming of hitting the jackpot, but as a shrewd mathematician exploiting a lucrative loophole. His $1,100 investment would yield a $1,900 return for a tidy profit of $800. And this was just the beginning. One night, under the cover of a campfire's glow, Jerry decided to let Marge in on his secret. The embers flickered as Jerry laid bare the secret that had been consuming him. He wasn't just playing the lottery, he was beating it. He had a system, a method to the madness that was as simple as it was brilliant. He was exploiting a loophole that no one else seemed to have noticed. There was no grand reveal, no dramatic build-up. Jerry, ever the mathematician, laid out the facts in the same way he would solve a complex equation. He had been purchasing thousands of lottery tickets during the roll-down period and reaping significant profits. He had already won over 5 figures, and the potential for more was tremendous. But how would Marge react? Would she see the genius in his plan or view it as a risky gamble? Jerry watched her closely, waiting for a response. For a moment, the only sound was the crackling of the fire and the distant hoot of an owl. Then Marge spoke. She didn't react with shock or disbelief, nor did she dismiss Jerry's revelation as some harebrained scheme. Instead, she asked questions. She wanted to understand the math, the odds, and the strategy. She wanted to know how it worked. She was intrigued. As Jerry explained, Marge began to see the potential in his plan. Yes, it was unconventional, but it was also ingenious. And most importantly, it was legal. They weren't cheating or breaking any rules. They were simply playing the game the way it was meant to be played, but with a unique advantage. The more Marge thought about it, the more excited she became. This was a chance to do something extraordinary, to take a calculated risk and potentially reap a significant reward. And so, as the fire died down and the stars twinkled above, Marge made her decision. Marge was all in. With Marge on board, the Selbys began to implement their strategy on a larger scale. They turned the roll-down weeks into an exciting, well-oiled operation. Picture this. Every 6 weeks, as the windfall jackpot rolled down, Jerry and Marge would embark on a ticket-buying spree. They would stand for hours at the lottery machines, buying thousands of tickets at a time. But it wasn't a mere game of chance for them, it was a calculated business venture. Their presence in the convenience stores was a familiar sight for the owners. After all, they'd known the Selbys for years. To them, Jerry and Marge were just another couple partaking in the lottery fever. Little did they know that the Selbys weren't just playing the lottery, they were beating it. But their ambitions didn't stop there. Seeing the potential of their profitable venture, Jerry decided to invite more people to the party. He set up a corporation called GS Investment Strategies. It wasn't a typical investment firm. It's stock, lottery tickets. Jerry started selling shares for $500 each to friends and neighbors. Every share owner was now a part of the Selbys' lottery operation, sharing in the profits of their calculated gamble. Their strategy was so successful, they even roped in their 6 grown children to help with the operation. The Selbys were not just playing the lottery anymore, they were orchestrating a symphony of numbers and odds. It was a sight to behold. However, like all good things, the windfall lottery eventually came to an end. After 12 roll-down weeks of substantial profits, the lottery was shut down due to declining ticket sales. But this was far from the end for the Selbys. Their journey was just getting started, and their appetite for the game was far from satiated. They had tasted the sweet fruit of success, and they were ready to play on a whole new level. After 12 weeks of big roll-down profits, the windfall lottery was shut down due to declining ticket sales. But the end of the windfall lottery in Michigan didn't mean the end of the Selbys' lottery adventure. In fact, it was just the beginning of an even grander scheme. When one door closed, another one swung open. This time, it was nearly 700 miles away in Massachusetts. A friend had tipped Jerry off about another similar windfall lottery that existed there. The rules were the same, the roll-downs were the same, and the potential for profit was the same. Without wasting a beat, the Selbys packed their bags and made the journey. Their days of retirement were long forgotten, replaced by the thrill of this mathematical puzzle and the potential of striking gold. They were no longer simply Jerry and Marge, the retired couple from a small town in Michigan. They had become adventurers, pioneers in a world of numbers and probabilities. In Massachusetts, they pulled out all the stops. They didn't just dip their toes in the water, they plunged head first. They spent $720,000 on $2 lottery tickets. That's a staggering 360,000 tickets. The enormity of their gamble was only matched by the sheer volume of tickets they had to sort through. And sort through them, they did. They rented a motel room and painstakingly went through each and every one of those 360,000 tickets, looking for the winning numbers. It was a laborious task, a test of patience, and a testament to their unwavering belief in Jerry's mathematical prowess. This was not a game of chance for them. It was a calculated risk, a mathematical certainty. They were not hoping to win, they knew they would. It was not about the thrill of the game, but the satisfaction of having outsmarted the system. Through their tenacity and mathematical brilliance, they found a way to turn the odds in their favor. They had found a loophole, a golden ticket to a life of prosperity. They spent $720,000 on $2 lottery tickets, then sorted through each one in a rented motel room. And in doing so, they had transformed the game of lottery into a business, a very profitable one at that. After 9 years and $27 million in winning tickets, the Selby's operation caught the attention of the authorities. Imagine that. Years of exploiting a lottery loophole, all while playing by the rules, and suddenly the spotlight was on them. It all started with a Boston newspaper. They were investigating locations where lottery tickets were being sold at an extraordinary volume. Naturally, they stumbled upon the Selby's frequent purchases. Can you imagine the surprise of the journalist who discovered this elderly couple from Michigan was behind the massive ticket sales? This raised an alarm and triggered an investigation by none other than the Inspector General. They wanted to know what was going on. Was there some illegal operation at play? Were the Selby's rigging the game? The investigation delved deep into the Selby's operation. Every purchase, every win, every roll-down was scrutinized. They examined the sophisticated system that Jerry had developed, traced their ticket purchases, and analyzed their winnings. But here's the thing. The Selby's were not afraid. They had been playing by the rules. They knew they hadn't done anything wrong. They were just playing the game the way it was meant to be played. Except, they had found a loophole. A loophole that was not illegal, just ingenious. The result of the investigation? The Selby's were found to have done nothing illegal. They were simply smart players in a game of chance. They had utilized their knowledge, their connections, and their patience to beat the system at its own game. This was not a story of deceit or fraud. This was a story of a retired couple using their wits to find a flaw in the system and exploit it for their gain. And they did it all while staying within the boundaries of the law. The Selby's had been playing by the rules. The lottery had worked the way it was designed to work. And that, my friends, is the power of a loophole. The Selby story is a testament to the power of a good loophole. A loophole that took a retired couple from a small town in Michigan on an incredible journey. A journey that saw them beat the odds, not once, not twice, but consistently over a span of 9 years. The story of Jerry and Marge Selby is not just about luck. It's a tale of ingenuity, determination, and a good deal of mathematical prowess. Jerry, a man with a bachelor's degree in math and a love for puzzles, spotted a gap in the lottery system. A gap that allowed him to turn $1,000 into nearly double, again and again. But the key to their success wasn't only in the numbers. It was in the legality of their actions. They didn't cheat, they didn't swindle. They played the game as it was meant to be played, just with a bit more strategy and a lot more tickets. They simply found a loophole, a hidden treasure in plain sight, and they exploited it to its fullest, in the most unassuming yet brilliant way possible. The Selby's strategy was so effective that it expanded beyond just the two of them. It grew to include their children, friends, and neighbors. It transformed from a personal venture into a full-fledged business operation, complete with a corporation and shareholders. This is a testament to the potential of loopholes. They're not just confined to lottery games or the world of gambling. Loopholes exist in all sorts of fields, from tax codes to marketing strategies. They're opportunities waiting to be discovered and utilized. Opportunities that can give you an edge, a leg up in a competitive world. Of course, the word loophole often carries a negative connotation. It's associated with deception, with bending the rules. But as the story of the Selby's shows us, that's not necessarily the case. A loophole at its core is simply an oversight, an unintended consequence of a system's design, and exploiting it, as long as it's done within the boundaries of the law, is nothing short of smart strategy. In the end, the Selby's loophole was closed. The game they mastered was shut down due to declining ticket sales. But they had already reaped the benefits. They had already made their mark. And their story serves as a reminder that sometimes the system can be beaten. That sometimes, with a keen eye and a sharp mind, the odds can indeed be in your favor. The Selby's had discovered a very lucrative legal lottery loophole, proving that sometimes the odds can indeed be in your favor.